let's strip away the jargon for a second. If I'm a listener right now, how do
Mhm.
I know if I actually have business acumen or if I'm just good at my job?
So if you're in finance, it's not just knowing finance. If you're in IT, it's not just knowing the tech stack. If you're in HR, it's not just knowing how HR operates, right? It's not about knowing your function in the textbook sense. It's about knowing how your business really works, where you plug into it. And it's the difference between being really busy and being strategic, between working really hard and then working towards something that actually moves the needle in the business overall.
Okay. So, what are some of the signs that someone is flying, say, half blind, even if they actually look productive?
Okay, great question. So there's three big tells. First, they're really busy, but they can't articulate which numbers they're moving or why. And again, I don't mean just within their role or their function.
Okay.
Second, they can describe what they do, but not how the organization as a whole wins, which is sounds like, what makes it different, better, or worth the customer's choice. Third, the priorities are driven by urgency instead of what moves the metrics that matter. And those are symptoms of low business acumen.
Can you give us a concrete example? Maybe what does that kind of look like in a meeting then?
Sounds like two functions coming together, one with the request of the other. Let's say it's tech between HR, say they're working on an HRIS program. One would say, well, our team is really, really slammed. We're juggling a million projects, right? But
Mhm.
what they could be saying instead is, okay, which one of the three initiatives we're working on for you that move the needle most, either for the most important customer we have or for the greatest outcome? The answer generally is just a shrug and a gut feeling. It's being able to recite the activity that's working and the status updates, but it's going quiet when asked, okay, how does this actually change revenue, cost, risk, or customer outcomes?
Okay. All right. So then that kind of leads us to the next area of conversation, which is you've mentioned that each leader should be able to answer at least the following three questions. Not someday, but now.
Yes.
What are they?
So you should always be able to answer the first question. How do we create value? Not what do we do? What do we sell? What does our customer need that they can't get anywhere else? And why do they choose us instead of the alternative? If you can't answer that in one sentence, then you're telling stories about features instead of actually being able to express the impact.
Okay, I get that. That makes sense. But if I'm a mid level leader, how do I answer that without just repeating the website? What's a bad answer versus a good one?
So I like to use the terms effective versus ineffective, right? I don't know that we could necessarily judge good or bad per se, but an effective answer would be we provide end to end solutions. Sorry, an ineffective answer would be we provide end to end solutions for XYZ and X space, which
Okay,
is marketing fluff, right?
exactly.
An effective answer is we reduce compliance complexity by 40% so that our customers can grow without fear of regulatory penalties. One talks about what you do, the other talks about the outcome that the customer really cares about.
And it sounds like it's supported with a little bit of data or numbers.
Yeah, and the connectivity, right? That tissue that brings the entire company together. What is the point of why we're doing this? That's what it expresses.
Got it. Okay. What's the second question?
Well, the second question is how does that value become revenue, cost, and results? Once you've named the value, how do you trace the money? Where does the revenue actually come from? Where do the big costs sit? What two or three metrics tell you whether the business is winning or losing? And really, most leaders know the metrics, but very, very few understand what actually moves.
Hmm. Okay. So am I supposed to know the full P&L for the company? That sounds a bit intimidating and overwhelming.
No, you don't need to be a CFO. What you need to do
Okay,
is,
good.
yeah, no, what you need to do is really understand the shape of the money. And so, what products or services drive the most revenue? Where the organization, where do they spend heavily? And there are vital numbers that keep executives awake at night. What are those? So the shape of the money is enough to make better decisions and speak credibly at the executive table. That's really what you need to know.
Okay. And then question number three?
Mhm. Is really where does my team plug in? So this is where it becomes personal. Your work intersects in the business model somewhere, either in customer acquisition, retention, operational efficiency, risk reduction. It fits somewhere in there. It's not a workflow. It's not pass the baton, here's where I have it, and here's where I give it back or give it away. It
Hmm.
really is identifying that intersection and knowing the difference between being an individual contributor or an individually contributing department versus being a leader with actual influence.